next panel is going to be amazing because I'm going to be surrounded by your fellow top producing agents, and we're going to find out all their secrets and find out what they're doing in their businesses that they can share with all of you. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome up to the stage Jay Friedman. Jay Friedman from HomeSmart Eye Care in Sacramento. Welcome, Jay. Jay knows that his clients are for life. And as you all saw last night, he is our #1 team last year, 2019. Congratulations, Jay. Thanks for joining us here today. Next up, we have Blake Clark. Blake has 20 years, or holds a business degree in business management, over 20 years of customer service experience, quickly made his way into the top 2% of top producing agents from our Queen Creek HomeSmart in Arizona. Blake Clark. Welcome. Next up, we have Felice Bobo. Felice is the owner of HomeSmart Professionals, leader of the Bobo team, also an award winner last night, and in a small market, and she used to be in healthcare way back when, right? Made her way into real estate and was a very quick success in a short time period, and won some big team awards last night, right? So congratulations, thanks for joining us. All right. All right, next up, let's see, Stephanie Maloney. Stephanie Maloney, top agent from Chicago. Give Stephanie, yeah. Stephanie works in a very high-end area of Chicago, is the sought-after realtor, and I think one of her claim to fame is very few listing appointments because the majority of her business is all referral and recommendation from clients. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
And we love having Stephanie here. Thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Bobby Lieb. Bobby Lieb from Phoenix, Arizona. Bobby, there you go. Bobby is one of those agents who has built a robust business that everyone in town knows Bobby. He has a very strong personal approach to his clientele and to his business space, and Bobby always answers his phone, and you can all reach Bobby, and Bobby expects you to answer your phone too. So Bobby, thank you for joining us today. Next up, we have Tim Ray from Kansas City. Tim has been heavily active in the real estate industry, is a coach, a mentor, and again, quickly found success as a team leader, and also an award winner from last night. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you all for joining us. Give Tim a big round of applause. Tim Ray, thanks for being here today. All right, so we are going to start with some individual questions, and then I'm going to move into some group questions that we know all of you are looking for some answers on a couple of different topics. So I'm going to start with you, Bobby. Bobby, you started the We Care charity in Phoenix for your fellow agents in need. It's a charity for other real estate agents. You've raised over $70,000 for that charity, and can you share with the group why you did that and why it's such a passion of yours?
Be
and
glad
how
to.
it's affected
First
your
of
business?
all, as I told Todd, I was going to kind of go out of line a little bit, as he knows I usually do, but I'm very proud to see the HomeSmart growth here. For me, I started 9 years ago from Realty Executives. When I came over to HomeSmart, the Realty Executive agents laughed at me, and 3 weeks later, 300 people came over. So to see the growth of HomeSmart now, all over somebody from New York, it's to me from the top, from Matt Widows starting this company to Todd. To me, it's great, guys, and I think it's pretty amazing. So give yourself a hand. Glad to have
Thank you,
everybody
Bobby.
here.
That's
So
kind
appreciate it.
words.
All right. So about 5 years ago, we had an agent in our company whose wife actually got carjacked in their driveway. The agent from HomeSmart watched his wife get knocked to the ground. Actually, she was unconscious for about 30 days. And I know we always do a lot of charity for other companies, so I asked a couple of people at HomeSmart, do we have a charity for our own agents? And they go, no. And so we started one. And basically what we did for this particular agent, he goes, look, all I want is, I've been eating McDonald's food for about 3 weeks, just get us some food. So we started doing a charity deal once a year where the sponsors and the agents donate prizes, donate money, and the last 5 years, 6 years we've done it, we actually each do once a year. We raised $9,500, and Matt Widows matched that. And with that, so which is pretty cool. So every year we've raised $20,000, and we've got 7,000 people in Phoenix. I know we got 17,000 worldwide. And what was really great about it, believe it or not, we paid for funerals. When you have that many agents, you can have people, not only the agents, but their family members that have cancer or whatever. But we give them back dues. We paid flowers, food, and again, every year we give back probably about 10 or 15,000 back to our agents. So it's pretty cool what we've done. Hope you guys in your other cities will do that. Be glad to talk to you about it. But really, it's to benefit our own HomeSmart family, and it's worked out great.
Well, yeah, isn't that great? And it's important to note, too, that Bobby actually is the founder of the HomeSmart Elite Group, a group of elite agents there in Phoenix, Arizona, a very large group. And the culture, the community in that group, and the team that you've built there is amazing, and we thank you for what you've done with that. And the charity was a big part of that, as well as your monthly meetings and everything you do. They're awesome. So
I love it here.
That's great. All right, so Jay.
Yes.
You have talked before about something called the screen story.
Oh, gosh.
And if you could tell the screen story a little bit about, and talk about how it relates to quality customer care and doing the right thing, and how that affects your real estate business.
Okay, so we've all sold homes that come back to haunt us. And as you all know, sometimes you've got to do the right thing. And it may not be the best thing for the situation, but in the long run, it always ends up being the right thing, and everybody wins. So I had a house that sold that was it was last summer, and the seller said they were going to do some repairs to the screens. There's a special windows, and they were unrepairable. They moved to the Midwest, and the house is in the Sacramento area, and they're like, too bad, so sad, not doing it. And we've hired multiple window companies to come out to try and fix these screens and try and get it right. And they finally found, the new homeowner finally got the window manufacturer willing to replace the windows, but they wouldn't pay for the shipping. They're coming from Canada, it's $1,300. So I contacted the seller. The seller said, too bad, so sad, we're gone, we don't want anything to do with it. And I know they were totally at wrong. They should have fixed it. It was part of the agreement that they be fixed before close of escrow, but they left and they didn't fix it, and so I'm handling it. So I'm going to be paying for the shipping, the buyer's agent's going to be paying for the install of the new windows, so the buyers are going to be in a better spot. So the moral of the story really is sometimes we got to do the right thing because we want to keep ourselves out of trouble, and also the long-term gain is a lot of times realtors don't make it past X amount of years as a realtor. And those new homeowners that are on the other side, or if you're representing the buyer, the seller's agent on the other side, they may not even be in business when those people are ready to move. And if you did the right thing and you always put their needs ahead of your own, it always comes back. And I tell you right now, those people, they're going to have a great house with windows that work. And if their agent's no longer a realtor, when they go to sell, they're going to think of me. And that happens a lot. Unfortunately, when you sell a lot of homes, there's a lot of hiccups. That's real estate.
Right. And in that case, did that paid for itself over and over again? Is it too soon to tell? Or
it's too soon to sell on that in particular deal, but there's been numerous transactions that I've had in the past where it wasn't so extreme financially, but just doing a great job on the transaction in general turned into buyer, and seller transactions from those people just because they weren't a fan of their realtor and they called me. And that's happened for me dozens of times, just doing a great job, not even spending money, just doing a great job and treating the transaction proper, and then they come back. That's happened for me dozens of times.
Clients for life, right?
Yep.
All right, so Stephanie, I mentioned this earlier. You've only been on 2 listing appointments in your entire career, yet you have sold a tremendous amount of real estate. How have you managed to build your business with referrals and getting those recommendations? Can you tell everyone about your I do it all approach?
Yes, that's pretty much it. So I was fortunate enough to work for a developer that built 600 North Lakeshore Drive, which is a 400-unit condominium building. And when people were buying and coming into the building, I lined up a contractor, a designer, so after closing they could continue to build the home and the closets and the paint and do all the things the developer would not do. And I had a cleaning lady that exclusively works for me, so they had a cleaning lady for the building. They have carpet cleaners. They have, I've not been on a listing appointment, but when someone calls me, I specifically say, because the stresses of moving and the stresses of selling your home. So I have a moving company, and I go and wait and go to with the movers as they're doing an inventory list so that the owner does not have to take off work and do those things. So all of the things I'm able to add above and beyond just what a normal agent would, it's resulted in just recycling, just reselling what I've already sold. My contractors helped over 100 homeowners in the building. My designer over 70. My cleaning lady said, can't take on anymore. I have to get someone else. So the people, when they move in or if they're buying and selling, and a lot of people in that building rent $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month, and so they don't rent at that range forever. So when they're ready to sell or to move out, I'll get them to buy something, or so it just keeps recycling. But I think because if you're comparing me against the average agent that just takes a listing and does what we normally do, but yet I'm able to say, I do this, 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 and all of the things I can mention still within that same commission, I win the listing. Because I have it all set up I'm a one-stop shop for anything
And you would
you're looking
attribute
to do.
that to a large amount of this repeat and referral business.
That's all it is. I will resell the same home. I do a lot of dual agencies because the tenants end up buying,
Right.
and then I have the listing. So, and there's 30 to 40 that resell a year in that building. So I have a good majority. So
It's
yeah.
phenomenal. That's
Yeah.
great.
And I love it. I love it there.
I love it. We see your passion. That's
Yeah.
That's awesome. Felice, as a broker owner as well as a top producing agent, you sell individually. You also travel an extensive territory, and you're extremely busy. So how do you balance, or how do you manage being so busy? How do you balance all of the responsibilities that you have?
I don't. It's honesty. There's really no good balance. I'm a workaholic. I get up at about 3:34 every morning. That's not for everybody, but usually I'm in bed by 8. And Elazar, I owe you, man, for last night, 2 a.m. You're killing me. So I had to shout that out. It's, I'm not, and I'll clarify, I'm not the broker. I own the brokerage, and I'm a full-time working agent. Our territory is really spread out. We're in all of northern Arizona. So we have Flagstaff, Pine Top Lakeside, Sholo, keep heading toward Payson, Pine, Strawberry, Sedona, all the way to Lake Havasu, Kingman, and Bullhead. So now that I named all those, you guys know who to call for your referrals. So we're going to put in a plug at the same time. And it's really just a passion. It took me till I was 44 to figure out what I needed to do in life. You guys, I just turned 50, and I'm going to be a grandma, so had to shout that out too. So
right.
that will probably be my future balance, is getting to have time. And by the way, it's really crazy when you're up here, you're blinded. That's going to probably be my new motivation and my new drive. It's my why. I know everyone keeps talking about their why, and it's family, and it's more than anything wanting to leave a legacy. So there's really no balance for me. I am going to Hawaii right after this, so I guess I am going to take off a little time. I'll still be working, but
Well, how about organizational tips? How do you have any systems or any structure, or what's your typical day look like?
I'm a fly by the seat of my pants girl. It's a lot of people go, you must have a lot of organization. I don't. One of my teammates is here with me. She'll vouch for that. I do get up early, and those first few hours of the day are mine without phone calls. That's the beautiful thing. I don't have any clients or agents calling me at 4 in the morning, so I get through my emails. I clean up kind of everything from the day before, and then my focus is coffee. And when you're on the phone, then you can't blow dry your hair, put your makeup on, and you're just, there's really no good answer, guys. I know you're looking for that magic answer. There's none. I'm just neurotic, crazy, and it works for me. It's me.
All right, that'll work. All right, so Blake, you have a very robust team, and I know that you meet with your team weekly. Can you
Twice
tell
a
us?
week, actually.
What's that?
Twice a week, actually.
Twice a week, actually. Okay. So can you tell the audience about some of the things that you go over on a regular basis? What's the cause for those meetings? Give us some examples about how you stay relevant and how you stay ahead of the curve and how you keep your team growing, doing more transactions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really big on marketing. I almost look at myself like obviously a realtor, real estate professional, but the biggest thing that I consider myself and my team is we consider ourselves marketers. I know a lot of agents that are phenomenal, have been doing this for a very long time, but I was able to surpass them in a really short amount of time because I was able to put myself in front of so many more people quicker. For example, we use social media, Instagram, Facebook, these things that are available at our resources and at our tips of our fingers basically to use. I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of people can you guys reach for free? And I see people paying for leads all the time, which we do some paid traffic, but I'm really big on brand building with my team. So anybody that comes onto my team, I'm really big on, somebody had asked a question in the last one about, where does all the volume go under the team? My team, if you guys follow me, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's under Blake Clark and then Blake Sells AZ on Instagram. I'd invite you guys to follow a lot of my team members that are on there because I help them all basically build their individual brands. When somebody comes onto my team, it's never to give myself the credibility I give my team. I wouldn't be who I am without those guys. We absolutely crush it for being a newer team, and that's because of what they do. But my whole goal is to build them up, build up who they are, kind of show them the ropes as far as like getting their bearings underneath them and utilizing social media to get a name for themselves. So in our team meetings, what it looks like, it's crazy. We do some pretty ridiculous games. I like to make people uncomfortable. I like to get uncomfortable. That's how we grow. So they'll come in and it could be very structured. We were just talking about hiring somebody in our team and dropping a fake bomb on the desk when they come in and tell them to defuse it in 10 seconds or they're not on the team, like just stuff like that. So that's how it's going to be when you're with me, basically, because in this business, it's ever changing, right? And somebody else had mentioned in the last one about hiring the right people, and that's a lesson I've learned the hard way. There's been great people that just don't work well with my personality, and it's hard for me to coach them, or my way of doing things may not work. And so we do anything from team building. We're really big on just being close, right? If I get up, I kind of worked in the corporate America back in the day and worked for myself for a while. My wife actually pushed me to start a team, and I was like, no, I was super resistant to it because I was like, I don't want to work with anybody. I'm good. I'm on my own. I'm freedom. I don't need anybody. Talene, who's a team lead on my team, had kind of pushed me. My wife pushed me. I hired her on, and probably the best thing I've ever done. And so with that being said, though, we have hired people in the past that just didn't really fit our mold or our model, but now I'm really big on bringing people in that I can truly help and they can get value in what I teach them. So we do full-time social media coaching, back to your question of what we do. One of our team meetings is usually focused around coaching on how to use Facebook, how to use Instagram, how to use that in a way to build your name, build your brand, but also capture leads. My team generates about 400 leads a month organically right now, just through Facebook. That's not including some of our paid traffic. So that's one of the biggest things we coach on is generating those kind of things, building a brand, building a presence around ourselves, and also sharing information. If you guys look, I'll give a ton of free info out, not to just other potential clients, but to other agents. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what works. Here's what doesn't work. To his point, I had to buy a refrigerator last year because I screwed up on a deal. My fault. Had to do it right for the client. It's just we all make mistakes, and so we do a little bit of that, a little bit of role playing, a little bit of overcoming objections. I ask my team, what do you guys want to go over? But we're constantly meeting and going over different things that we can do to just get better and stay ahead of the curve and overcome objections that we're facing. So
awesome. All right, so Tim, there's been some talk already
you always
about.
leave me for last, brother.
Well, yeah.
I feel like the only thing missing on stage right now is Spider-Man.
He is. He's over there. All right. So work-life balance, though. Your family, I know, is very important to you, and real estate is a busy business, and you obviously are a top-producing team as well. And so, how do you manage the work-life balance? Coaching soccer games, being with your family, but yet maintaining a real estate business.
Threw me for a little bit of a loop there. So someone said earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't believe there's such thing as work-life balance. I think when you're, whoever was speaking that said, some people like to work 60 hours a week. Like, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you love and if that's your passion. But when you're giving 100% to something as you should, you're completely and perfectly neglecting something else. So I think it's all inside the realm of expectation. I did. I'm like probably the only realtor in Kansas City that hasn't worked nights or weekends for years. My kids are now grown though. I'm almost an empty nester, so I actually am starting to pick up doing things on the weekends. But I did coach teams, and I love to spend time with my girls, and now they're grown. So, you know, I'm kind of in that place where like I'm figuring out what my next bigger why is, if you understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. All right, so this is a question for the whole group. Buyers and sellers sometimes ask agents to give up part of their commissions. How do you answer that? And I'd like a 60-second answer from each of you. How do you answer that? Starting with you, Tim.
I have two answers for that.
All right, go.
The first answer is no. But then what I see most realtors do when they're asked the question, will you reduce your commission? They say, no, because of this and that and the other thing. And the best response is no. Then they don't know what to say, and the conversation just moves on.
All right.
It's all inside language communication. So if you use pauses appropriately or don't pause and you move on to a different topic, you don't give them a chance to rebuttal.
I like it. Jay.
Okay, so I don't feel like I reduce my commission, but I feel like I do a little bit. So I'll tell you what I do. So I just go into every listing agreement with the contract written at 5%, okay? And on that agreement, it also says if you use me to buy, I reduce it by 0.5 point. And if they then ask me to reduce it down more, I tell them no, it's not gonna happen. I've already gonna give you 8% service for only a 5 or possibly 4.5% rate. So if you want the best, but you don't want to pay for the best, I'm right here. So let's sign some paperwork. And then with buyers, they always ask, well, Redfin's going to do this, or this guy's going to do that. And I'll just tell them, yeah, well, you're not going to get the quality, you're not going to get the knowledge, you're not going to get the experience, you're not going to get the guidance that I'm going to give you. And you're not even going to pay me. I get paid by the seller who's selling the house that you're buying. So it's not costing you any money. But if you want that $1,000 from Redfin, you can hire them, but you're going to end up paying for it in the long run because they're not going to know how to negotiate on your behalf. So what do you want? And that works.
Bobby.
That's a tough question to answer, and I don't really think there's a straight answer. I work by myself, and I sell personally 115, 118 homes a year by myself. And when it comes to the commission, I think it's case by case. To make a generalization, I'm not going to do this, somebody else will. And here's the difference that I look at. I mean, obviously, I'll go in with 6% if I have to, but I always offer 3% to another agent. Whatever I do with the seller, if I reduce it, it's not going to impact the selling agent, because I think that's, that you're hurting yourself. But I also look at, if I do reduce my commission a little bit, and that's the way to get the listing, especially when there's not a lot of listings out there, and I list about 150 homes a year by myself, you do what you got to do. And I think for me, I'm not going to say what everybody else's philosophy, whatever works for you guys, but I want signs out there. And if I give up a discount on a commission to have more signs in the neighborhood, I guarantee those signs are going to get me more listings. And that's my deal, especially, I'm not, I think the more you canvass the neighborhood, and if you have 15, 20 signs, even if I give up a 0.5 point or point on a deal, I guarantee it. And then plus I'm going to market that house and say I sold it with postcards, so I'll make up whatever I give up. So that works for me.
Stephanie?
So I let them know, I just remind them that 16 years of my 19 in real estate have been selling exclusively at this one building. So they get the knowledge of 16 years worth of experience at this one place. I built it, I know it. They get me for every single showing. As there's objections coming over, I'm overcoming the objections so that people can make a decision quickly. And if they're like, well, we don't like something, oh, I've got a construction crew, does over 100 homes in the building. Oh, you do? Okay. Like the buying just becomes so much faster because I already have everything set up. So, and I also, if someone were wanting to move out of their home, they don't live there full time and they want to rent it out, I will, and when I say property manage, I don't take money for that, but if your refrigerator breaks, I will show up to meet the appliance guy and wait between 12 and 3, and not you and not your tenant, and it makes the tenants also, it comforts them as well. So I don't feel a real need, but like you said, when you're doing exclusively one building and there's 14,500 agents that I actually have to compete against out there in Chicago alone, I do at times, depending, and I do a lot of dual agencies, so I'm at 5, maybe 4 if I'm a dual agent. But I try to not necessarily discount, but sometimes if that's the case, or if they're going to buy something, I'm not dumb about it either.
Right.
No.
All right. Felice and then Blake.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be quick. Usually I follow Tim. No. Guys, it's plain and simple. If you don't value what you bring to the table, how's the client going to value it? It's all in your level of confidence and your phrasing and your just approach to the whole situation. If someone's going to try to nickel and dime me right from the get-go, what's the rest of the negotiation going to be like? On the other hand, I will pro bono or credit my entire commission to a client that's in need that would never ask me for it. So I challenge you guys to do some of that as well. Give back. That alone and the amount of referrals you'll see from that situation will take you to a whole new level in the world. So change your mindset and change what you feel you bring to the equation. The confidence level alone will change people asking you that question.
Blake?
I think it's a case-by-case situation. Probably not popular for some people on here. He said it, but for me, I've tried it probably 100 different ways. So I do it a different way, right? So I go into my listing appointments now with the menu option where, hey, if you want this and photos, videos, full drone, like I do Facebook targeted ads, I do a bunch of different stuff. How much money am I going to dump into your house to market this thing and get it gone? I got a certain budget I got to stay within that just makes sense, right? So if you want me to do limited service, bare minimum, this is the percentage I'll do it at a discounted rate. If you want full service and you want my undivided attention, you want it, then we're going to do it at full price. With that being said, there's every deal, it's a case-by-case situation, right? If it's a house that I know I'm going to sell really quickly, there's not going to be a whole lot of time invested, I can discount that because I'm not going to have a lot of personal time in that, especially if I'm going to help them buy, to be honest with you. If it's a house I'm going to be sitting on for a while, putting a ton of time and energy into this thing, I'm probably going to charge a little bit more on that. That's what it is. Yeah, I look at it as a business. So.
Right. At a conference like this, there are always many conversations going on, everything from lead gen, social media, marketing, postcards, magnets, online, etc. All of you obviously have very successful businesses. So I'd like to ask all of you if you could sum up your most successful marketing secret that has gotten you where you are today, and quickly share that with the group. Start with you, Jay. Do you want to go first, or you want someone else?
No, I can go.
Right.
There's just so many things in every day that gets done. So something different that most people don't do, kind of like what Stephanie was saying, is I will take a house, if my client's moved out of it or not moved out of it, and we know it needs to be remodeled, I do have the tradesmen in place to do all new kitchen countertops, repaint all the cabinets, redo all the floors. They'll give me the budget. I'll spend the budget. I'll go to the granite store. I'll pick the slabs. I'll pick the tiles. It gets my creative juices flowing, and I don't charge them extra to do that. And then I end up getting more listings and referrals from them by going above and beyond, and it just keeps spiraling. And I'll get all their friends and their family. And yeah, I put in extra time up front, but the houses sell a lot faster, so I'm not spending a lot of time just trying to get them sold. And it's a lot of fun. You take something that's ugly and make it beautiful. So I'm kind of flipping, but I don't own the property, so it's not my risk so much as just making it look beautiful, getting it sold.
Right. Blake?
If I had 2 tips, I'd probably say number 1, just be extremely consistent in what you guys do every day. I have a set routine every single day that I do. Treat it just like a job. That was one of the biggest transitions, I think, going from corporate to working for yourself, was missing that structure piece, which I think is where a lot of people fall off. So if you stay extremely consistent. And the second, probably biggest thing for me was just be yourself. I mean, I was that guy that showed up in a suit and tie when I first came out, and my business is all referral based, so it's my friends, my family, and when they look to me, they're like, that's not you. I'm the guy, again, I'd invite you to kind of follow me on social media, flat bill hat, Chuck Taylor's, and that's who I sell to, because that's all my friends, my family, and I just come across as more authentic. They trust me because that's who I am. I show up who I am every single day, and my business literally skyrocketed when I took the suit off. It's not to say it doesn't work for you guys if that's who you are, but when I just started being myself, acting like myself, and then people developed that trust in me, yeah, we know this guy, that's who we know, and my business just went through the roof at that point, and just goes to show you could be yourself and be extremely successful without having to be somebody else. So
I second that 100%. Just be you. Don't try and act like somebody that you're not. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram as well. I know these guys are got to be active on social media. I mean, that's what we do. So it's good. Just be out there and be present.
Well, I have to echo both of you guys because I've been licensed as a realtor since the mid-90s. And I mean, I think the internet we're on dial-up, right? So like when you say marketing stuff that works, we do marketing stuff that works. But I didn't have that opportunity when I was younger, starting a career. It is 100% the authenticity that you bring, the realness, the rawness. Because in that authenticity is where people feel trusted and valued and treasured, and that's where you're going to build the relationships, and then expanding that into networking. Because I love conferences. I've been to several and seen you, Adam, Todd. I love conferences, and this group of people networking. I think within the last 2 weeks, our office in Kansas City received 4 or 5 referrals from HomeSmart agents around the country just from people networking with each other. So I echo everything you say, and then consistency. But if you are going to do some marketing or something, whatever it is, copy successful people. Like, don't try to come up with it on your own. Blake offered like, what do I post on social media? Go watch what his agents are posting on social media. If it's a kitten or a puppy or like whatever, all that stuff works, but consistently do it so that people can follow you and they get awareness of what it's like to be with you and work with you. Is that a question?
How about you, Felice?
All right. I just do me. That's it, guys. I'm real, I'm authentic, I'm weird, I'm crazy. What you see is what you get, and I think people just want authentic. I don't walk in and say I sold 100 houses last year, or I do 25 million in business. They don't care. They don't care. You can be a brand new agent and get out there and do it, just like I did. 5.5 years in the business. I'm just me. That's it. Embrace your inner you. Get to know who that is. If you don't like it, change it, guys. It's that simple. It's really not that complicated. And this room is the best source of tools and information you can ever have. 85% of my business is referral-based, guys. Just talk to people. That's it, plain and simple.
Bobby?
So you said you weren't going to argue, but if I told you I saw 100 homes a year, you say that's wrong. I'm just giving you a hard time. You told me. No, don't. You don't have to answer that. By the way, Todd and I did a marketing class for 2 years. If you can imagine, one of us trying to get word in edgewise.
I always interrupt you.
You did interrupt me. So as Todd knows, I hate to lose. I know a lot of us are out there. January 1st to me is, besides being the New Year's Day, my sales start at 0. And that fires me up probably more than anything, because I'm looking, it's great that I did whatever I did the previous year, but
Beware the guy
1st,
brings.
What's that? Oh.
What?
Somebody, was that Matt?
It wasn't me, but I love that someone's interrupting Bobby.
That's fine. That's
And it
okay.
wasn't me.
Anyway,
All right.
so I started at 0, and I would tell you that I reinvent myself the first week of every year, figuring out what the new thing is. So whatever worked last year is great, but you have to keep changing to stay up with everybody. First of all, I'm AOL, so I don't know how many people out there are AOL.
Bobby Lieb at
So I'm
AOL.com.
yeah. But I do a lot of postcards. To me, postcards work great. We do social media, but I have an assistant that takes care of that for me. But it's just continuously sending things out. I don't necessarily say it's an edge. I agree with everybody saying that you have to be yourself, but you also have to market. And when you have sales, I will send postcards out letting everybody know that I've sold it, and just be continuous. But you have to change every year because there are things that are changing.
Can you were talking about reinventing a little bit, though. Can you talk about what you did with your social media? What's your password to your social media account?
He's asking me that because he knows I don't know.
But I want you to tell them, how you manage it, because everyone is so busy, and you did a really unique thing.
My wife has now worked with me in social media, but I have an assistant, been with me for 20 years, and when I tell people the amount of homes we sell, I absolutely do not know my passwords. I have, you can't be everything. Some people are technology geniuses, but they can't sell. I can sell. I'm a technology idiot, and I'm proud of that. So I think the thing is, you surround yourself with people that make up for your weaknesses, and I have a great assistant that, thank goodness, I obviously pay her well because I don't have partners, but she takes care of that part, and I can trust her, and it's worth paying somebody to have a great assistant that can make up for your weaknesses. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie?
Okay, so my approach to real estate is I don't care why you call me, just call me. So when I get a call, whether it be because obviously I can list, I can market the home, but there's such an extension of what I do that no other agent, it seems, in Chicago does this, because when people talk, they're like, no one does that. Why are you doing it? I'm like, well, I know why I'm doing it. So when people call me, whether they're calling because they know I will meet the mover at their place and spend an hour doing an inventory check, or I have my contractor that can come in and we can fix the home prior to listing, or if you plan on renting your place out and you don't live in Chicago, then I will be the one that shows up for everything. And they just know. They know that I will do all of these things. So if I can add 5 more things that I do as an agent that no one else is even talking about doing when they go to talk about getting a listing, then I don't care why you call me. It could be all reasons. It could be just one of the reasons, but I end up getting the calls. And so and I'm in the building every single day. I'm parking in the garage. I am walking in, and when I do sell something in the building, I have an email blast to every owner in there, and then the renters that go in. So they see constantly, I just listed, I just sold, I just rented. And it's just a continuous flow of, and management refers me, and then front door staff refers me, and building engineer, like I've just been with them for 16 years, so it's been
That's
a long
great.
time.
Yeah. Someone more?
Oh, yeah. go for that.
One other thing on the advertising that obviously when we go on listing appointments, you're competing with other agents that are making promises to your client. And the only thing I would say on that is whatever you promise your client, make sure you do it. Because if you don't, your broker is going to be called and they can fire you. So whatever you promise, make sure you do it.
I do. Oh, yeah, no, and be consistent. Like I treat everything 1, 2, or 3, our buildings from 500 to 2 million in price. So I don't care what home you have in there. I'm going to treat you the exact same. And when I do that, that's when people they love the service. You're offering additional services that typically you don't get. So it's worked. Consistent.
When someone tells you, no, you can't do it, Bobby's not going to remember this. 5.5 years ago when I started as an agent with HomeSmart Corporate, I went up to Bobby Lieb and I go, I'm going to be Bobby Lieb. God forbid I don't want to look like him, but I wanted to be Bobby Lieb. Love you, Bobby, just saying. Anyway, we have to have fun. We always have a little banter because he told me, no, you can't be an elite member. This is what you must do.
Well, you have a good memory.
Thanks for the motivation, Bobby. It really did help. So find that, guys. Find someone you can have this goofy relationship with and make it work to motivate you.
Wow, it's getting dicey up here. This is good. I like it.
Is it too late to say I'm sorry?
Okay, I've got witnesses. I'm
Okay.
pretty good now.
All right, so we only have a couple minutes left, and I want to get real tactical real quick. There's a lot of ideas, topics being talked about at this event. There's a lot being thrown at the agents. I want them to take home some things and implement those tactics in their business. What does your day look like that drives your business forward? Can you give just a quick semblance of your day, some tactics that you do that everyone in this room should be doing?
Just remember there is no work-life balance. It's never going to be 50-50. Like I've always been a huge Brian Buffini fan. My license plate.
Brian's coming on in a moment.
Perfect.
Or later.
My license plate actually says 5 circle on the back of my car, so it's constantly reminding me to remember family, faith, financial, personal, and business. Those are the 5 things I'm trying to balance. They're never going to be 20-20-20-20, but they all got to be a part of my life every day. So, and I get up at 5 in the morning, Monday through Friday, go to the gym and work out, and then go to work. And Monday through Thursday, I don't know what time I'm going to get home because we work when our clients don't work. And you got to remember that. I know some people can strategize to keep their evenings free, but we got to work. But Friday nights, non-negotiable, that's family time. Saturday nights, non-negotiable, that's family time. And on Sundays are kind of, I really try hard not to work on Sundays. But, sometimes we got to do what we got to do.
All right. Tim?
I'll go. It's interesting that you brought up the five key areas of life because I believe that your schedule and your calendar and your day needs to be plotted out the reality is, even inside of that, we get sidetracked, and then you have to go do something else and all of that. So my kind of just rule of thumb is, in all 5 areas of life, I want to, at the end of the day, make sure that I've moved the needle forward in them. And if I don't, then I'll send an email to my wife if she's traveling, or I'll do something that's going to move the needle and enforce the relationship, or further my business, or work on the business, or work on my health or my spirituality, or anything like that. That's how I gauge success in my life at the end of the day.
So Bobby, I know for you, like some of the tactics are, I know you have scheduled postcards, mailers, things like that. Can you talk about that a little bit? And making sure that your marketing's always moving forward.
Sure. The first thing, I don't sleep. I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning, sending emails out, and it's pretty cool when you actually get responses back that are crazy people up that early. But I do emails, especially we have 1,200 agents in our elite group that we have. But I feel like I get more stuff done early. I always have to go to the gym, kind of release, because you know it's going to be a long day. But unfortunately, if you are predominantly a listing agent, you don't have a life. I mean, I hate to say that. I know, and I believe me, I coached my kids and did all that balance. But when you're a listing agent, especially in the competitive market we have, at least from my end, I work all the time and have crazy hours, and you just got to do what your clients ask you, at least in my perspective. But I'm every day I'm trying to figure out different ways. Certainly some of the ideas I have on marketing, I stole from other people. So they stole from other people. So I'm not reinventing anything, but it's just, I think your key word, which I really believe, is you have to be consistent on your marketing. And I teach, as Todd knows, I teach a class every other month. And one thing that I tell people, you have to advertise every single month. I don't care if you have a crappy month, as we all have, but when you stop that 1 month, people like that are up here, we're advertising 12 months out of the year, we're going to kick your butt. So you really have to put money aside every single month, whatever it is you do, get your name out there, but you cannot stop. And when you stop, you're going to lose that advantage, and somebody else will come in there and swoop you up.
All right, Blake, 20 seconds.
You guys noticing a trend, by the way? Everybody getting up at 4:30 in the morning, going to the gym. So same thing, 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym. So I get up early just because obviously it blocks out 2 hours, 3 hours of my day before the kids get up. Everybody gets up. I got time to myself, sit down. I'll wake up 4:30, answer emails for an hour, hit the gym by 5:30, home by 6:30. Kids out the door, dropped off at school, working by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And basically, like what he said, no work-life balance. I wish I could tell you guys I struggle with it. It sucks. I wish there was anything different. You start doing volume, it's going to be tough. But yeah, that's what it is. Every day, marketing, 24/7, get up, and I'd post on social media. I mean, no matter what, every single day, stay in front of people. Stay top of mind. So
you don't even have to ask for business on social media. Just be present. They know what you do. Just make sure they don't forget who you are. I mean, you don't have to constantly be asking for the business. Just make sure that they know who you are. That's all you got to do on there.
That's good advice.
Schedule an appointment with your son or your daughter, your wife. I do that. So I'll pick up my son one day a week for a couple hours. I schedule it. That's an appointment. And my daughter's in high school now, so she doesn't want to go to breakfast with me. She wants to sleep. But when she was in elementary school, middle school, I take her to breakfast once a week. Just her and I, so you get one-on-one time.
I love it. All right, we have no more time. I hope you've enjoyed this top producer panel. Please give them a round of applause.
Like what you're hearing on The Real Estate? Tell your friends about us. Tell them to check out all of our episodes on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And don't forget to send any topics you want us to tackle to therealestate@homesmart.com.